Angela. Hey Glenn, how you doing? Let's see if I can get everybody. Try to give a few minutes for everybody that wants to get on. Hope everybody's doing good. Hey Christy, how you doing? Hope y'all are well today. I know y'all need to get John some supper. I'm sure he's hungry by now. Hey Miss Jeannie, hope you've had a good day. It's a beautiful, beautiful Saturday. Hey Carla, hope you're having a good day. Hey Sandra, it's good to see you again tonight. It's a beautiful day. Hey Miss Sue from across the hill, good to see you tonight. Hope you're doing well. Just a few minutes here. Hey Miss Misty, hope you and the Cobb clan are doing good. Yeah, you like my roses? I did them all by myself. I appreciate you noticing. Hey Miss Janice, Miss Terry, hope y'all doing well. Miss Wilma, I know you're good. It's good to see you tonight. Miss Rita, see you and Brother Bobby. Hope y'all doing good this evening. Yeah, I have to be honest, Carla, you mentioned about the roses. I take no credit for that. I mean, God did that. I mean, because I can't grow anything. So, anyhow. Hey, John, good to see you there with your mom, Miss Sarah. And Terry, howdy. Look forward to you singing tomorrow, Terry. Hey, Miss D, I hope you're doing good today. Miss Mary, I hope you're doing well. Misty, good to see you and Brother David tonight. Hope y'all are doing good over in Georgia. Miss Christy, hope you and Joseph and Kelsey are having a great Saturday evening. Oh yeah, my roses again, I told you, I take no credit for them. My granddaddy could grow watermelons in the middle of a highway, and I can't grow anything with Miracle Grow, so I didn't get that, but my girls have done good. I'm just good at weed eating. I'm really good at weed eating, but sometimes I cut down stuff they don't want me to. Hey, Miss Misha, hope you're doing well. Cloud, man, how you doing, Cloud? Long time no see, my word of life buddy. From Romania. Appreciate you checking in with us, Cloud. We'll give just a minute or so, a few more seconds, and we'll dive right in on tonight's devotion so we can get ready to worship tomorrow. Hey, Michelle, hope you and Coach are doing good. And the boys. Just another minute or so. We'll get ready to start here in just a second. Looking forward to a good day of worship tomorrow. All right, we'll go ahead and start. I know your time is precious. Appreciate you checking in with us tonight for our daily devotion, April 25, 2020. Imagine that. April is gone quickly, but sometimes it seems like it's been a mighty long month with all that we've had to deal with. Hey, Jimmy, hope you're doing good down in Hackneyville this evening. So even though April is getting close to the end, we still have much more to go, I'm sure, but nevertheless, we know that God is faithful regardless. Good morning. Good evening, Miss Diane. Got a great praise report on her family. That was dealing with coronavirus, fever-free. Boy, I know she appreciates everybody praying, and she said that. Hey, Kay, hope you and Keith are doing well tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into the devotion. So, like I said, your time is precious, and I appreciate you being here with us just for a few minutes. You know, y'all that know me well know that I don't watch a whole lot of TV and stuff like that, or like ball games, but, you know, had to watch more news. I probably watched more news in the last 6 weeks than I have in 10 years. Some of it is helpful, some of it is encouraging, but the greater part of it is not so much. It's tough. You really got to work hard and keep your motives right and check your spirit, you know, and the Bible teaches us that, to guard our heart. Proverbs 4:23, for out of it spring the issues of life. And it's very hard to guard your heart right now with all that we're being bombarded with, so I want to encourage you to do that. But there's a few things that I've had the privilege to watch during this time of quarantine, which is very hard for extroverted people to be quarantined. It's just not the way we do things, and it's very hard, and I'm sure many of you struggle with that as well. But I watched this movie with my family not too long back on Netflix, and if you've got Netflix, I'd encourage you to check this movie out if you want to see something that's real. And I like real stuff. Y'all know I like biographies and things like that. I like to read about people's lives and watch movies about lives. A guy who played football at the University of Arkansas, his name was Brandon Burlsworth. If you have got any connection to his story, you'll know that when he came out of high school, he was not highly recruited. He was offered a scholarship by a Division II school, rejected it because his dream was to be an Arkansas Razorback. So he went a part of their team through walking on. So he walked on the Razorback team just before Coach Houston Nutt was the coach during his senior year, but up to then, Danny Ford was his coach, another Alabama guy. But anyhow, when he came in, he didn't have much promise of even making the roster, much less ever being on the field. But he decided, and there was a assistant coach who really took a real interest in him. And I don't want to tell you, the whole thing, but nevertheless, I want you to know the gist of what was going on. That assistant coach believed in him and told him some things he was going to do, spent some extra time with him, did some extra workouts with him, worked on about what he ate and drank, all that kind of stuff to get his weight down to where he would be able to move because he came in too big. So, long story short, he worked hard, and was devoted to the Lord and devoted seeking the Lord throughout his time as a college athlete. And he made his way into the starting lineup. In his last year, he was an All-American. Not long after he graduated from the University of Arkansas, he was drafted by the Indianapolis Colts. Went to the mini camps there before the season workouts began, and tragically was on his way home to take his mama to church when he had a horrific automobile accident and lost his life just after being drafted by the Colts. It's a really inspiring story to see that this young man who had no promise or hope of ever seeing the field not only saw the field, became a starter, and became an All-American. It really was encouraging. I encourage you, if you've got a couple hours and you want to watch something good, that'd be something good to watch. Greater is the name of the movie, and it's on Netflix. Brandon Burlsworth. When I read, and not only after I saw the movie, I read some things about his life, and I watched some other video clips of him at the University of Arkansas, and I really attributed him to being kind of a modern-day Nehemiah. Nehemiah is one of my favorite guys, especially from the Old Testament, because he really had some qualities that I think all of you and I need to get through even difficult times like we are. If you're familiar with the book of Nehemiah, you know this about him. Nehemiah was a man who was burdened, he was a man who was broken, and he was also a man who was bold. He was burdened because his homeland was in trouble. The gates were burned with fire. Bold enough to be able to take the steps that were necessary not only to go back to the homeland, but able to see God bring about a tremendous move. See, he dealt with some things as a broken and as a burdened man and as a bold man. He dealt with some things that you and I have to deal with discouragement, because he didn't have a whole lot to work with. The people were discouraged, and he had to deal with oppression. All guys that were constantly coming after him. Sanballat, Tobiah, and Geshem. I'm telling you, they were all to get at him and always trying to get him to stop the work and always trying to get him to kind of come down there and negotiate with them, but he had nothing to negotiate about. Nehemiah was on a mission from God, just as much as Brandon Burlsworth was on a mission just from God, because he was a follower of Jesus, but he was on a mission because he wanted to be not only an athlete, he wanted to be an All-American, and he was able to do those things. He wanted to get drafted in the NFL, and he was. So he took those things, all of the bad things that happened and all the difficult things happened, he channeled that energy into doing something that was bold. That's what Nehemiah did. He did just the same. Even though he dealt with discouragement and oppression, he was able to do something amazing according to Nehemiah chapter 6, verse 15. He was able to, complete the rebuilding of the walls of Jerusalem in 52 days. That was a remarkable feat that he was able to accomplish. It seemed almost impossible for us today. He leaves for us a testimony of what it means to have a heart that is devoted to the purposes of God. And I want to encourage you tonight. Excuse me, I had chili for supper tonight. Angie's special recipe sure was good. But nevertheless, I want to encourage you tonight as we get ready to worship tomorrow. Yes, we're still having to worship online. I know things are not optimum, and we're having to overcome some difficulties. We're having to overcome some discouragement. We're having to overcome some oppression that we have no control over. But we can be like Nehemiah and be a testimony of a heart that is devoted to the purpose of God being accomplished in our life. And I want to encourage you to do that this Saturday night. I want to encourage you to pray about that, go to bed. And when you run out of people to pray for, let me tell you somebody that always needs them. That'd be me. I need your prayers. Not coming days, next week, and the days that follow, I desperately need the wisdom of God to be able to help lead the people that God has given me the privilege, and it is a privilege. I told Angie this morning as we were talking, having a cup of coffee, I said, Angie, if there's anything I want to do, I want to honor the God who loved me, who saved me, and who called me. I want to honor him in everything I do because he is worthy of that. And he's a friend that sticks closer than a brother. I encourage you tonight. Pray much for tomorrow. Call someone, text someone, send someone an inbox, write on their wall. I'm learning all this stuff about Facebook. Do whatever you can. Encourage them to tune in at 10 o'clock. 9 o'clock, we'll have Sunday school. Tell them to get in at 9 o'clock. Brother Bobby's going to teach a tremendous lesson. I can hardly wait for that. And then at 10, we'll open the Word of God. We'll have some wonderful singing. And we are trusting God to do exceedingly abundantly above all we could ask or think. So remember that. When you get discouraged or you feel oppressed or you feel down, as we all have had those emotions during this time, just remember that Nehemiah gives us a wonderful example of a heart devoted to the purpose of leave this world blessed, and we'll leave in right relationship with God. Hey, before I go, don't let me forget to tell you, you know I love you. There ain't a thing you can do about it, and I'm looking forward to all that God has for us in the coming days. God is faithful, and we can trust him. God bless you. Have a great 9 a.m. for Sunday school, 10 o'clock for worship. God bless. See you tomorrow.